We will diagnose this engine light. Let's see what kind of faults we got on the computer. Alright, I've already selected the car. Let's just go engine computer. Trouble codes. Alright, we got multiple different fault codes. Starter relay malfunction, maybe that's because of us taking that relay off. Immobilizer, CAN bus, I'm not too worried about that. All I'm here focusing is this top three faults here. Okay, so O2 heater circuit malfunction, O2 sensor circuit malfunction, bank 2 sensor 1, bank 2 they're all pointing me to the bank 2 sensor 1 fault. So okay, let's go to live data now, and we're gonna find the oxygen sensor data here. Why is it not communicating with us? Should be talking to us. Okay, so we're gonna go and find oxygen sensor. No oxygen sensor. Why? Short-term fuel trim, knock sensor, fuel pump. I don't see any oxygen sensor data here. Maybe let's try different data here. Mass airflow, desired throttle, bank 1, fuel trims, injection time. This one doesn't have oxygen sensor, O2 sensor data maybe. O2 heater, it's measuring the resistance. But where is our O2 sensor? Doesn't look like we have O2 sensor here as well. Not sure why I'm not getting O2 sensor data here. I'm not sure. Let's go back to maybe OBD-II, because this is not helping us here. I'll probably go back to EOBD. Let's try that, if that gives us anything here. Okay, live data. All right, for some reason I couldn't find no O2 sensor data on the scan tool. I don't know. I'm going into OBD-II datas here. Let's hope there's something there that will help us. Long-term fuel trim, short-term fuel trim. Here you go. Oxygen sensor, bank 1 sensor 1, oxygen sensor bank 2 sensor 1, and our fault is oxygen sensor bank 2 sensor 1. Okay, also we'll just go fuel system A and B, which is just the bank 1 and bank 2, and let's have a look what sort of data we get here. Alright, I'm going to start the car now. Alright. And that just freezed up on me. I may have to go back and select again. Don't know, something happened here. Alright, let's select fuel status. I am not seeing any data activity here at all. Don't know why. Alright. It is communicating to us. It says no fault code. That's just... I am not sure what's going on here, guys. I will have to probably restart everything again. Let's auto scan that. We'll select fuel system loop A and B, and we will select, I'm not too worried about the fuel trim data at this stage, bank 1 sensor 1 voltage and a bank 2 sensor 1 voltage. This is a V6. Alright, let's graph that and let's see what kind of data we get here, guys. Okay, alright, let's start it up. Alright, we'll just let that warm up a little bit, and we'll watch this status up here, open loop, closed loop. So once it hits open loop, sorry, closed loop, then we can start analyzing this data. See, bank A, system A is closed loop at the top there, but bank B is still on the open loop. So, and it's not moving. That data is staying at 0.4 of a volt the whole time, and the bank 1 sensor 1 is, we see some activities there. So to me, it's already looking like the bank 2 sensor 1, I think it's an open circuit. I think that's the default value from the computer. That's the default bias value from the computer, 0.4 of a volt. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, so we got a fault code on this Commodore bank 2 sensor 1. That's the fault we are seeing. Okay, so on this engine, bank 1 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 1. So bank 2 is this side, okay, bank 1 is that side. So it's very easy to identify which bank is what just by looking at the engine. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you how to know which bank is what. Okay, if you look at the front of the motor, look at the tappet cover. There's going to be 2 tappet cover on a V6 or V8 engine. The tappet cover which is sticking out further to the front of the motor is going to be the bank 1. So in this case, this tappet cover is about there, and if you line that up with the other side, that side is sticking out a bit further. Also, another way you can tell, it's the coil, the first coil on each bank, which coil is towards the front. Okay, so in this case, that coil on the bank 1, that is sticking out further that way compared to this one. So this is the bank 2, and the sensor 1 is a pre-cat sensor, lives down here before the catalytic converter. That's the fault. So we're going to do some testing there. All right. All right, I'll just focus you down there. So it lives down there. I don't know if you can see or not, but I'll try my best. Down there somewhere. Okay. So that's the oxygen sensor connector. You can see right here. That's our oxygen sensor connector where my finger is pointing at. Okay, so we're going to do some testing there. Okay, let's get rid of that bank 1 sensor 1. We know that sensor is working. Okay, let's get rid of that. And we're just going to focus on this one alone. Okay, so 0.4 volts at the moment we seeing on that sensor. And by memory, 0.4 is an open circuit. So when you disconnect that connector from the sensor, the voltage is gonna jump to 0.4 volts on the scan tool, okay, from memory. So every car will have a different bias voltages. but memory serves me right. I think VZ Commodore is 0.4. So without even going further, it's already looking like an open circuit. It could be in the sensor, it could be in the wiring. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do some testing right here now. So to do that, what I'm gonna have to do is disconnect the connector, and we're gonna have to identify which wire is for what. So because it's gonna have 4 wires, okay? So always remember, it's going to have 4 wires. The 2 same color wire is always I've found almost always on a 4 wire oxygen sensor. 2 same color wire, it could be any color, white, black, blue, same color wire on the sensor side. Okay, the harness on the sensor side is always going to be a heater circuit, and other 2 different color ones is going to be earth, and one going to be the signal from the computer. In this wiring here, you can see there's 2 white color wire on the wiring. This is going towards the sensor, okay, down this way, and up this way goes to the engine computer. Okay, so 2 white color, and one's gray and one's black. Okay, so 2 white color is for our heater circuit. Black and gray color is gonna be signal and earth. Okay, so what we need to do is disconnect this wire connector. Okay, I'm not too worried on the oxygen sensor side itself. I'm just gonna focus on the harness going towards the engine, this harness right here. So to make it easy, I might put some extension there so we can bring it up a little bit and we can do a bit more testing easily. I'm just using the breakout lead, so I'll just have to make sure I don't short circuit any of these wires. This one, I'm just gonna grab my test light. Okay, so I'm gonna use a test light, so I'm gonna connect extension lead, one on the black, and I'm gonna go black onto this side of the test light, one side of the test light, and I'm gonna connect this red extension, okay, to the red extension we made there, because if everything is good, this test lights should light up, but it's not lighting up. Okay, right here, this test light should light up if everything is done right, but it's not. So I may go and maybe cycle the key or try to start the car and see if that heater circuit turns on. Alright guys, I just started the car, and you can see that test light blinking on the heater circuit wiring. So what that means is the blinking part, it's a duty cycle type heater circuit, so we know it's working. Okay, now we know the heater circuit, the powers and earth are there for the heater. I'm happy with the heater circuit. Now let's move on to our oxygen sensor side, okay? All right, next thing we're gonna do is oxygen sensor harness side testing. For the wiring or the computer problem, or we can verify if the oxygen sensor itself is no good. So we can get rid of this heater circuit now, because we have identified that it is perfectly working. At least the wiring and the computer control is. So I'm just gonna get rid of this jumper we made here for the heater. All right. Same thing again. I'm gonna get a extension from the other connection breakout lead we made at the harness. This is just hard to get to, so yellow and the blue wire here. So I'm gonna go black with the blue and red with the yellow. Okay, so I'm just gonna use these two extension so I can show you the test a little bit better. All right guys, now first thing I want to show you quickly is we're seeing on the scan tool 0.4 of a volt, and we can verify that with the scan tool with the wiring harness disconnected. All right, let's go to voltage, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this 2 wire connection for the oxygen sensor onto the multimeter, and you can see the exact same number there, 4.35 volt, right? So we know this is correct. That's what we're seeing on the scan tool as well. All right, now let me disconnect that, get this multimeter out the way. Now one of this gonna be earth, so we can verify that with our test light quickly. So I'm just gonna connect my test light to battery positive and verify our test light. Just find a ground, and this test light is gonna light up like that. So one of these 2 wires is gonna have constant earth supply from the computer. Okay, let's see. There you go. We got a earth on that red wire. Okay guys, now this one is the one that's showing us 0.4 of volt. Okay, this is the signal wire, the black one, and the red one is our earth. Now a simple test what you can do to verify the computer or the wiring harness is you can always touch them together. Okay, what you're simply doing is you're pulling that bias voltage to ground, and you can watch the scan tool when I do this, and the scan tool will go to 0. Okay, have a look. There you go. Scan tool will go to 0. So computer is reacting, and we know our wiring is good. Okay, next thing you can do, you can use your body to pull this voltage down to ground as well. It might not come down as much, but I'll show you. I'm just going to touch this pin on with this hand, nothing else connected. I'm just going to touch the body. Okay, and you can see that voltage changes on the scan tool. Okay, now best thing to do here is just gonna zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole picture here what I'm doing. Okay, now we say this black one is our signal wire, right, for the oxygen sensor. All I'm going to do is touch that with my one hand, and I'm going to touch battery positive with my other hand, and you'll see the scan tool, the voltage jump up to 1 volt. So I'm sending voltage through my body on that signal wire, and the computer is reacting to it. Now this is only a 0 to 1 volt circuit, so we're not going to see 12 volt, but basically I'm sending 12 volts through my body into that signal wire. All right, also what you can do is our test light is already connected to battery positive here, right? If I find a ground, the test light will light up like that, right? So what we can do, we can always use a test light on the same signal wire, this black lead, right? And I'm going to touch this lead with my test light, and it's the same result. We basically sending 12 volt through that test light to that signal voltage, signal circuit on the computer, and computer is reacting to it. So we know doing that few tests verifies that the wiring is good. Computer is sending that 0.4 volts of a bias voltage down that signal wire. We got good earth We already tested that on this red wire, and we can drive the signal up or down by providing earth or power through our body. Okay, we can do it again. We can drive this signal up by touching the positive side of the battery with our body, or we can join this wire together, just shorting out the earth, okay, like that, and we can drive that to 0 volt on the scan tool. Or you can always just touch the body of the car. It does the same thing. Sorry, that's not the signal wire. This is the signal wire, the black one. Touch the body of the engine. Basically, we're supplying earth. Same thing, we got earth and this wire too. It's the same exact thing. And it dropped to 0 volt. Okay, it verifies that the wiring is good, computer is good, computer is reacting. Basically, the oxygen sensor is the problem in this car. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed something about oxygen sensor. I'll catch you next time.